guess we're gonna do another one just to show you guys.
Back in the garage working, took my car out, had to bring in a special project I want to get done. Been planning it for a while now, and in last minute we just took it on with a crazy deadline. For a while I was messing with my friend. He kept putting different engines in his car. I kept trying to tell him just put a rotary in it, and out of nowhere hits me up and buys an engine for me. Later on he tells me, I kept asking me if I can build him a car for SEMA, and here we are. So 240SX convertible SEMA right-hand drive build. Here it is. So 240 glitter paint job, but with a nasty engine. So this it's not a billet plate, it's just everything's potty coated. So it's a 13B RAW semi-peripheral with a front cover from my 12A. That way we're able to make mounts from the front. Everything's ready to go. I have to do machining on the manifold just because semi-peripheral. These are Cosmo manifolds. The engine's already ported to match Cosmo. So all I have to do is just weld there to the runners, front and back. Then I'll start to make a turn manifold. Luckily, the engine got mounted. He had one of his friends take care of the mounting the engine transmission, just because I didn't have time. I sold him an engine just to, basically he wanted to buy an engine, but it ended up snowballing to now me building the whole car. His friend took care of the mounts and just mounted solid. It's pretty good, it's not gonna go nowhere. Transmission's mounted. I have to measure for a drive shaft to get a drive shaft made, but other than that, I now get to do what I do, and it's doing fabrication, wiring, and tuning. I did build the engine too. We did that at my dad's house over a weekend. So engine's ready to go, fully machined by Mike. I put it together, we sealed it up. Now it's time for me to get artistic and basically make this engine bay pop. Because I mean, you don't really see too many Rotary 240s, so you want to make sure you do it right. One of the biggest issues we're gonna have is that we have to cram such a huge turbo into such a small engine bay. Because even though it's a rotary, between the V-mount and the engine and the right-hand drive steering rack, it is kind of tight, and we're putting this turbo into it, which is really heavy. Just do one hand. We're doing this big old turbo. It's a Bog Warner S476 T4, just because you don't need T6. It's a pain in the ass, but big turbo, which goes big manifold. We have to run big piping to actually make the power. And due to time constraints, I think we're just gonna do a hood exit instead of doing full exhaust. Last car I did, I was messing with the exhaust a little bit, and honestly, not having exhaust makes way more power. We are trying to go for 700 horsepower in this car. Not sure how it's gonna put it down because the car has like super crazy camber for no reason, but he'll get to it eventually. Once this car starts making power and it gets no traction at all, I think it might click in his head to just dial on the camber a little so you don't crash the car. Some of the key points to make this car a little bit easier to drive, even though semi-peripheral, we are doing drop-by-wire throttle body. It will help a lot with the idling. Electric water pump, little things here and there, just to make sure everything works 100%. Of course, it's all going to be controlled by Haltech Elite 2500. That way we have full control of everything happening to the car. First things first, I'm just going to tackle the turbo manifold. Once the manifold's done, I can get an idea of spacing for the intercooler and radiator for a V-mount. While those parts show up, then jump into the engine harness, and by that time we should have the fuel system here also shipped out. The crazy part is that we literally only have about 3 weeks to do all this. The car needs to be done out of my hands by the 15th at the latest. Then he needs to go to the paint shop to get the engine bay resprayed because the paint doesn't match for the engine bay to the actual car that well. After it gets resprayed, then he needs to go up to Virginia. We're gonna install everything back into the car, put it in the dyno in my shop, tune it, and then the 29 needs to go straight to Vegas for SEMA. So timeline is super tight. We can make it. Super stressful, honestly. Every fucking SEMA build is always last minute and stressful. But I mean, I've done it before. It's not that big of a headache. Just gotta get everything scheduled right and just work hard. So for now, I'm just gonna somehow hold that turbo somewhere up here, make a jig from the flanges to the turbo, and start working the turbo manifold so I can get that. At least I want to get the manifold done today and then keep going on from there to see how far I can get. It is a big job to take in last minute, especially when I'm still working on Chelsea's version. I have to do a mix of both cars at the same time, but regardless, both cars will get done and I can get my garage back so I can start doing my cars again. Due to the size of the turbo, you see it's a pretty big turbo, I am gonna have to actually make some reinforcements that we don't crack the manifold once it's done. I mean, this thing weighs a lot. You can see zero. Put the turbo on. Turbo by itself is 38 pounds. With the wastegate, 42 pounds, which means this thing needs to get reinforced pretty good because that's a lot of weight. All said and done, we're probably gonna have about 50 pounds of weight on the flanges, so I'm probably gonna have to do some reinforcement because I do not want the turbo to fall off. I'm pretty sure no one wants that either. I did go ahead and order the CNC flanges. They come out 2.5 straight to T4, super nice, made in the US, and makes my job way easier. And then same thing as here, falls into place. So this thing is using a Street Faction subframe without the mounts, so they just basically ended up putting a hole through there, bolt and nut, and then making this little turn that we're able to clear for the oil return line and a turbo manifold without being in the way of the mount. So right now we're still trying to figure out what to do as far as here. Got cut out so it looks cooler, and we need to put both back in there. On the rack, it's super tight. You can see down there. I don't see any causing an issue being that close. The only thing I'm mostly worried about is how close the runner is to the back of the, basically to the steering column. So we'll see how long it lasts. Hopefully it doesn't melt the seals, but I have to basically come out super tight out of here to get around this thing. So I had my boy Jason come by and help me out because holding one hand and welding it, it's not as easy as you think. So he came by, helped me hold it with his friend. Well, helped me hold the turbo with his friend while I tightened on the rods to hold it in place. So that's where it sits at now. So pretty high up, pretty straight, not in the way of anything. And I even got a mock-up of the intercooler I'm gonna make for the car. That we can get a little head on the fabrication and know what to order correctly. True old-fashioned is getting a hood exit. So that's basically already fabbed up. Just gotta get the matching V-vent for it and then put an O2 bung on it. The intercooler is pretty much planned out. I gotta order the core, then basically make the intake myself. I'm just gonna cut here, put a tight 90 radius on it, go straight to the intercooler. And over on this side, it's just gonna come out of here 3.5 inch straight and then go into the elbow. So pretty straightforward. The flow's gonna be pretty good the way it is. I have to make mounts for the radiator still and make mounts for the oil core, so they're gonna sit inside of here. So I have to cut the old mounts out and then make mounts to put these right here, both sides. One on this side, one on that side, connect them together, put them to the thermostat, and that should be the whole cooling system will be done after that. Not bad for a day's worth of work. Now I just gotta do the plumbing tomorrow for the manifold. Everything's gonna be pretty much straightforward. Make sure it's equal length, and then do the wastegate down here. Probably have the wastegate somewhere down here, dump it straight to the floor. Get the matching V-band, weld the up pipe on, and we'll be almost done with it. So I haven't been making content in a while because I thought to myself that you guys kind of getting tired of watching me just build cars constantly over and over again. As lately, I just been building cars. I've been working on my own cars, but pretty soon I'm gonna get my cars done. Just gotta schedule it correctly because I have this car here, have this car unit gets done, and some of the stuff I'm doing on the side. So once all that shit's out of the way, then get back on my cars. Next day, back and working on the 240. I have one of the runners already done. It was pretty easy to do. I mean, like I've done so many now that I can getting knocked out pretty fast. Ended up changing the studs for the block because they're kind of getting in the way. Put titanium ones on it, easier to get in and out of. Now all I have to do is finish second runner and then do the wastegate basically junction. I already took out 2 of the rods since I already had this on, and the runner is pretty straightforward, like nice and straight as you can get it in there. Just because it's the rear, so you want to make the rear as straight as you can, and then match the front with the curves to make an equal length. A few cuts later, thing goes on there. That's flush. Now I just gotta, I think I'm gonna have to do it from here because it's too tight in the car. So I'm gonna have to run from here out and then merge them together for the wastegate, which won't be easy, but I have no choice. So I ended up putting the template intercooler back on just to make sure everything's gonna fit right. Both runners are already tacked on, and I even got the wastegate, the front wastegate runner, so you can kind of see where the wastegate's gonna sit at. Still out of the way. Still have enough clearance between the turbo and the wastegate. And now I just need to do is tie that back runner to here, take everything off, weld it, and port it. Still has pretty good placement, so it's not gonna be like too far up where it's gonna restrict the flow. It should flow really good still with the wastegate. Cause if not, if we don't do that right, this thing is gonna spin too many times and blow the shit out of that engine. So that's crucial, and I'm confident to where it's at. It's gonna be really good. And I had the perfect dump straight down under the car, or we can just turn it all the way around and come up if we want to get rowdy with it, but it's most likely going under the car. Pretty hard to record basically every time I'm trimming the pipe, so I mean I wish I could show you guys me doing that. Little space, super cramped, don't have really that much angles to like be cutting and showing you guys the process, but I'm doing my best at it. Hopefully soon we're moving out to a bigger house and I can build a shop in the backyard, and then we can have more space and basically more detailed content. For now, this is what you're getting. This is what I came up with. And if you can kind of see right here, which I can put it on right. Flush there. Flush here. Ready to go. Just gotta cut the holes in the runners so this actually works. Not sure if I'm gonna weld today just because it's like 2 hours worth of welding. But I'm just gonna tack everything up and have it ready for tomorrow. Or I might just weld it. We'll see. So I have to make a cut here, make a cut here, and make a cut in there. And I also have to cut this tack and cut this tack because this weld is so tight down here that it's way easier to weld this runner separately and then just basically just throw it back on here. So I'm gonna leave that rod on there, gonna weld this side on, then pop these 2 off, pull the runner off. That should help it not warp, basically not bend, so the runner fits back the way it's supposed to fit. At least that's the plan. All right, so pop the runner off. Still gotta polish the bottom so it matches, but now I get to do the shitty process of cutting every hole by hand and clean it by hand because I've done it with a plasma before, and honestly, just at least more work than anything. You have to get in there and clean up all that shit afterwards. So it's gonna cut this, cut that, put it together, tack it, and hopefully be done soon because it's almost 7 o'clock already. Got all the holes cleaned up, ready to go. I was gonna heat this up, back purge it, weld this whole runner, do the same for this runner, and then finish off with the wastegate. So long night ahead of us, pretty much. All right, so both runners are welded up. This one's just tacked on. That we can test fit the merge. Make sure it's gonna actually clear before. Make sure it didn't move a little bit before I weld all this. But looking pretty good so far. All right, so everything lines up pretty good. Just gotta close all the holes up with tape, back purge it, and then gotta do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 welds so I can call it quits tonight. All right, so got everything welded up. Last piece is this one. So you just gotta, I think it goes right there. You gotta put it back on, weld it, and I'll be done with the manifold. All right, guys, so manifold's done. Took me forever to weld it, just went through a job on it. And you can see in there, so I can get a better look at it. Wastegate priority is really pretty good. So let's get that bolted up on the car now. Next thing would be the up pipe and then the intercooler. It's gonna be a super busy month for me. I got a lot of work to do, not a lot of time, so I just gotta get to it and hopefully be able to record enough to show you guys without interfering on my deadlines pretty much. So thanks for watching.